Alright, hey everyone, I'm back at it again with another video, and yes, these are all videos, it's not just one picture. You can see the leaves jiggling around there, but the other day I decided to just go out and record some random bits of 3D just for fun, just to see how different things work. I should say the interaxial is the same for all of these clips, and that is a little bit over 2.5 inches. I'd say like 2.7, 2.6 inches. But yeah, you missed the first. Well, we didn't miss it, but the first part was just the tree, and now we have a little dog part, and the, I think a lot of this came out really well, and it's interesting to see, how the depth plays off of how close the cameras are together. And I'm wondering if I had put them farther apart for some of these, if the objects within the frame would have had more depth. And I mean, obviously they would, but you know, I guess it's kind of hard to tell because I'm looking at the editing window and the 3D is going to look less extreme there. So once I watch it on my television or just my regular computer monitor at full size, it'll probably have a lot more depth in it. But I like how these came out. They came out really nice. This is a little playground area as well. It's a little bit of jiggling going on. My tripod is okay, but it the cameras kind of weigh it down, so it gets like unbalanced. So the video will look tilted. So I have to find like a counterweight to keep the metal bar completely straight on the tripod. But looking at this, I think that like if I had the cameras farther apart, I could have squeezed more depth out of it. It was standing a few feet away, the cameras were, and naturally one thing, when I go to fix the 3D, the auto fix, it zooms in automatically to fix some discrepancies. But I also change the convergence point on some of these images so they would be closer. Like this pole here, it's my girlfriend swinging in the background. This pole here was farther back into the frame, but I put it at the actual, or what I perceive to be the screen uh, area, the screen plane. But yeah, hopefully once I look on this video on a bigger TV, it'll be better. But I've really been able to pull a lot of mileage out of this rig, and through editing and everything, and understanding how to use the medium better, and just this was also kind of a practice in what are interesting shots for 3D. Where if I was gonna do a movie, where would I position the camera to make the 3D well, not just good in 3D but in 2D as well. If I was doing a shot where someone's on a swing, is this a good shot? Or how about this? We just switched over to another one. Is this a better shot? Kind of, you can't really get a good look at look at her face. It's still, I don't know. It's too zoomed in, I guess, is the issue. And those are issues that will be fixed moving forward. This is another one where I manipulated the convergence point. The pole is obviously, at least how I perceive it, to be on the screen plane. And I had to do the swing shot. This actually, the idea for this shot here is pretty much this, and pointing the cameras at a tree and getting all those leaves are pretty much the two ideas that made me want to do this video. I'm like, oh, we got to do the swing. It's such a classic, you know, deal. So we did that. And I think it came out really nice. And you have some trees and stuff in the background as well. Hopefully when I look on the TV with this, the pop out will be really nice. Here's another shot, and another one that I manipulated the convergence point on. Just had the idea of, what if you had like these two things on the side as like well, it is a barrier, obviously, it's a fence, but, you know, kind of like framing within the frame sort of deal, you know. You have a window into a window. So not only is your screen like a window, these two white posts are a window as well. And back there you can see the library, you can see the Center for the Arts, the Baxter Perkinson Center for the Arts. Got it right this time. Got it wrong in my other video. But, you know, I wonder if I went back out there and up the interaxial, you know, how things would be if I did that. The only issue is that when you do that, it's really for stuff farther away. So like this one right here, and I forgot to change the conversions. I actually will probably do that when I go. I'll re-edit this part. But those trees, you know, they kind of seem, they're not flat. You can still see volume, but like, would they have more? They would definitely have more volume because I was standing a little bit away. But I did intentionally pick this shot as well because you have the, you know, the trees are in different places. You also have the fence, the chain link fence with the black cloth running along it. You have the closer tree and the farther, you know, one, and then the one behind the fence. You also have the little crane back there and the light to the left, and then the actual building in the far background. It's a pretty decent, alright shot. Lots of layers, so it's a good shot for 3D, I think. Here's another pretty decent shot. We got a chain link fence. This actually, I moved the camera. Originally, that part on the right with the door, if you guys can see that, that wasn't in it. The camera was ported more to the left. But I was like, it might look better because you have that wall there running down the side of the building. And I don't know. Oh, there's a car. The depth didn't render properly with the car. I think it has something to do with the I know camera people are probably gonna be like, duh, of course it's that reason, but I think it has something to do with the frame rate. Not the frame rate, but I can't think of it right now. Basically, if it's not exposure either. I can't remember it, but yeah. Um, that car rendered out properly though, I think. This is the Village News. It's a local newspaper. This is another one well, this one and the last shot I modified the convergence on, and this looks nice. You got the columns there. You have the trees. The sides of the building run into the background. Hopefully, you can see a little bit more depth when you're looking on a larger screen and not on the little editing window that I'm looking at right now. What else does it say? This editing program supports 4K. I don't have a 4K monitor, but you know, could probably get my hands on some. I don't even know if I'd really need a 4K monitor to edit 4K video. I probably should to help with that. This is one that I changed the convergence point on, but I pushed the bush back further into the frame. It's still coming out, it's still popping out, but it's much less popping out than it was before. And I think this is a really nice shot because you get all the little bits of leaves there, and you can see into the bush if you kind of look in the center. You see all the sticks and everything. But I think 4K really would add a lot, and it would add a lot to 3D because 3D is all about picking up the little details, and 4K is a sharper image. You get more detail with that, and that's a good marriage. That's why IMAX 3D works so well, because of how high quality the cameras are. And you get every single little last bit of pixel in your image to really help things come out. Here's another one. This one was not one that I was intending to do, but I was standing there and I was like, this would actually be good. This is one of my favorite shots, actually. You have the bush there in the foreground, and then you have the pole, and then or the column, the next column, the column, the column, and then the bush at the far end, and the little newspaper thing there, and of course the wall, and that's good for perspective, or yeah, perspective, I believe. You have points of reference to to see how far back the 3D is going. And there's a shot, it's the last shot I did, and that I'm going to illustrate the point of, you know, it's not enough to just have like a high uh, interaxial, even though I didn't, like I said, it was only slightly hyper stereo, but still, without, points of reference, it'll just appear flat, even if it's something like really far away. But I like this one. It's good framing. Actually, if I were to do a 3D movie, and I would definitely use a shot like that. Here's another good one. You have the it's gonna wobble a bit because I was basically having to hold the rig myself instead of having it stand still to keep it from flopping to one side. But this would be a good shot for 3D if it was like, the camera was moving across over top of the spikes there. Nice little pop out moment. And it also helps, show how far away the rest of it is. And that's another important thing to have, like foreground objects to really put into perspective how far away other objects are in the scene. And like I said, that's something we'll be looking at in not too much longer. But this is another good one. I also changed the convergence on this. Just assume I changed the convergence on all of these so that the spikes weren't coming out as much. Here's another one. This is a weeping willow. I like this shot. This is another really good shot. You have all the little leaves and branches hanging down, and I think another good one would to be have the cameras down on the ground pointing face up or directly up into them, and you can have like the little uh, droopy branches coming down into negative space. I think it will look really cool, but I think this looks good as well. Very nice. Nature shots are always very nice. And there's lots of different layers here, that you're picking up on. And the other thing is that I do lose a bit of quality when I do the, auto fix for 3D, and I definitely want to, make sure that I get good on that. I could make it so that the 3D needed less autofix, but it would also push the cameras farther apart, and I don't want to do that. Now, this is a shot across the lake. I had changed the convergence point so that the buildings were like closer, I guess. But as you can see, even though there's that vast lake, and if I had the cameras down on the ground and it ran off into the positive space, then it would look better. But this way you kind of need different objects in the scene to help points of reference. So if you had like some RC boats or maybe an actual boat, someone sitting on the lake, people swimming, maybe you have ducks or something. Looks like something's making ripples in the water there. Then yeah, I guess that's all the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And maybe I'll do more random shots of stuff. I don't know.